We've out-fatted our cars. We're so fat we have to buy cup holder extensions on Amazon because the soda can guzzling helmets spill when you try to text and drive. So I've been told. The US is the fattest country on earth, and we also have the most coronavirus deaths. We gotta lose some weight. Okay, before you accuse me of fat shaming, obesity is a medical condition, and the people that suffer from obesity, and yes, they are suffering, do so because the drug dealers, aka corporations, are shrinking all of their costs so they can enlarge their profit margins while we enlarge our guts. You know, 40% of Americans are considered obese. That's insane. And no wonder we're fat. We're stressed out, we're at home watching the fear-mongering news, we're busting at the seams. Isn't it embarrassing to you that there's such thing as a European cut style of clothing versus an American cut? And the only difference is the European style cut clothing, it's tapered more. You know, we'd rather dress like a dictator from North Korea than look like, I don't know, a French prime minister. Come on, that's style. Studies show that obesity increases the mortality rate amongst coronavirus patients. So my question is, where are all the PSAs from the media? Where's all the rallies to get our country skinnier? Why isn't that happening? You can socially distance and do some burpees at the same time. Your downstairs neighbors might not be happy. I guess that doesn't sell as much as arguing on Facebook about masks. I think we should have masks on just to keep the little Caesars hot and ready out of our mouth. Mainstream media doesn't want to touch the obesity epidemic because our country is afraid of two things: coming off racist and being accused of shaming other people. And there are plenty of positives to PC culture, but being okay with obesity isn't one of them. And I know this, I'm a fatty in disguise. I wore a t-shirt in the pool. I still have fat kid nipples. I gained 26 pounds last Christmas when I went home to my in-laws in Kentucky. Are you kidding me? I pack fat person clothing with me when I know I'm going home for Christmas. The whole Little Caesars marketing campaign, hot and ready, for a food addict like me is torture. That's like Charlie Sheen going to a furniture store and just seeing perfectly cut lines of cocaine waiting for him with a hooker on the Lazy Boy. It's like, come on! So here's where it's important to note. We're not blaming people that are obese. We're blaming the drug dealers. So we can talk about the issue and not shame people because it's not the obese people's fault for having a bunch of sugar and whatnot pumped into their food, living in food deserts, not being able to afford healthier food. This isn't their problem. This is a problem with capitalism. And one of the key issues I see here with our country specifically is we're so worried about losing our civil rights that we do nothing about the problem. There should be a tax on sugary products. Absolutely. Can't do it. It's hard to have the right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness when we're bedridden by 48. We blame the obese person because in simplicity, obesity happens when we take in more calories than we burn, right? But it's more complicated because certain food are more addictive than others. In some studies even prove that sugar is more addictive than cocaine. Give credit to Big Pharma because opioid addiction kills you much faster than a sugar addiction. Obesity kills you slow and painfully like a Ken Burns documentary. And the whole system's working against us. It really is. You know this, in 1965, scientists were paid by the sugar industry to point the finger at fat and cholesterol at the leading causes of obesity. What? And we believed them because we were idiots and they had white lab coats on. We all know tobacco lied, but Coca-Cola did too. Listen to this. Coca-Cola did their own scientific research that said that there is no evidence that linked sugary beverages to a rise in obesity rates. What? In 1984, Coke and Pepsi switched from sugar to high fructose corn syrup because the government has a subsidy on corn, which lowers their prices, raising their profits, and raising our BMI. Capitalism, baby! Boy, they're all in line for cookies. This is the problem. There's a line around the corner selling cookies. But you know what? And a lot of people hate on Bloomberg because he's that short, evil guy who spent $500 million on the 2020 presidential election only to get 6 delegates from American Samoa. He did one thing right. He tried to ban sodas larger than 16 ounces in New York City. But, you know, you can't do that. Listen, no one needs more than 16 ounces of a soda unless you're at a sleepover in 1998 playing GoldenEye. You're getting your ass kicked from Odd Job because you're too busy flirting with Natalia Simonova, the Russian hacker chick with the Karen haircut. You're stressed out, you're getting slapped by Jaws, and all you want to do is crush down a fresh, cold surge. To be young again. What I would give. All this ranting is making me thirsty, I'll tell you that. misguided with our rights in this country? We literally are fighting for the right. I got my freedoms. You're gonna have to pry that Dr. Pepper from my cold, dead, chubby, inflated, diabetic finger. By the way, McDonald's found new ways to get us fat. Have you seen the straws that they use? Those thick straws are like the HOV lane for sugar into our veins. And then you have countries like France that have socialized healthy drinking water all over their country. Oh no, he said socialized. That's triggering, makes me thirsty. Don't think I'm letting the dairy industry off the hook. How the hell was the Got Milk campaign legal? Ever since the Got Milk campaign, like teenagers' periods are coming in 3 years earlier. What's that all about? Oh, I don't know, hormones in the milk? But studies say that that's not true. I don't know who to believe. I spent my formative years breaking out in acne because I thought a cup of milk was wholesome. Stupid campaign. Got milk? No, I got a face full of zits and blue at my senior prom. Poor people have higher rates of obesity. These are the facts. They live in food deserts. So it's no surprise that McDonald's is the largest real estate company in the world. Are you still loving it? The pandemic reveals to us that our Band-Aid culture on healthcare has clogged up our hospitals as much as our arteries. How about a proactive healthcare solution? And I'm not talking about the Proactive I had to buy from guzzling cow milk. How about PSAs about which foods are healthier? And an initiative to make healthier foods cheaper and more available to everybody. Nothing keeps us from taking to the streets in protest like the sugar crash from a morning McGriddle. I got a solution for you all, folks. We need a nationwide diet. And we still might get coronavirus, but we might flatten the curve and the stomach just a little bit. We need public service announcements, education, and we need to all come together, stop yelling at each other, stop living in fear, put a mask on, go outside and do a couple lunges. If the 350 million Americans in total lost maybe 600 million pounds, we could beat this thing. I sound so dumb because it sounds so obvious. Lower the rates of obesity, lower the mortality amongst the people who are going to get coronavirus. Look, we need to realize we might all get this thing. We can't be waiting for some vaccine that may or may not come. So let's boost our immunity, get out there, limit our unhealthy food, and walk around the block a couple times. If you liked this video, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment, let me know if this makes any sense, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody. It wouldn't hurt to get some vitamin D as well. If your only source of sunlight is sticking your head outside of your Toyota Sienna to yell at the Burger King drive-thru lady because she forgot one of your straws, that's not enough sunlight.